Drawing both arms back, both legs long, we allow ourselves to take hold of the opposing elbow, or if it feels better for you, you can just relax the arms heavily. We can step both legs towards the bottom left corner of the mat, and we have the option to send both arms up and over towards the top left side of the mat, or if it already feels quite intense with just the legs in their lateral bend, then you can leave just the arms in center instead. Either way, we should feel a nice stretch from the armpit all the way down to the right hip. Begin to breathe deeply, observing the sensation of stretch as you inhale. When you're feeling ready, slowly ease back through center, taking a nice deep in-breath and then sliding both legs and potentially both arms up and over towards the towards the right corners of your mat, stretching through the left side of your body. Allow that heaviness of the muscles. As you melt down through the muscles, you might find that the pose changes a little bit. Whereas you might have started off in this deep, deep crescent moon, when you melt down, you might find that it comes a little bit more central on the mat. Wherever you land is your perfect version of this pose. When you're ready, stepping both legs back through center. Allowing yourself to be as long as you can be. We then draw the left leg up towards us. Gently draw it in, and then place the right hand on the outer left thigh, coming into a gentle twist. It's up to you where you'd like to target here. If you want to draw your knee closer, towards your armpit, then you can target a little bit more through the outer hip. If you like to send your knee further away, then it's a little bit more of a twist. Take what feels right for you here. Listen to your body. Breathe deeply. Find the mind wandering, gently guide it back. Each time we guide it back, all we do is refocus on the present. If you find your mind wandering towards the past or the future, towards the hypothetical, just shift back to what is. Your body lying in stillness in the present. The breath flooding into the body the sensation of heartbeat and blood flow, sensations of warmth, coolness, dissipation of tension. Continually give the muscles permission to switch off. Often we'll find that we are switched off throughout the muscle that we're targeting. For example, the left hip. But we'll find that the right glutes, for example, are switched on and pushing the floor away. So just allow yourself to mentally map through the body, continually relaxing down. When you're ready, we're going to swap sides by sending the left leg long, hugging your right leg up towards you, planting your left hand on your outer right thigh, and coming into your twist on the other side. It's up to you whether you have that leg a little bit further away from you or tucked up a little bit closer towards you. You can always make this a bit more of a restorative practice by placing a pillow or a bolster underneath your knee so that your knee doesn't fall so far when you now relax down the muscles. It's normal for the pose to look slightly different when you relax down. Relax down the face muscles. The shoulders. The muscles of the torso so that you can breathe deeply in and fully out. When you're ready, ears back through center, planting both soles of the feet down and grabbing your block. We're going to come into our yin bridge here. So within your yin bridge, we'd like to target the lumbar spine and potentially through the lung and heart meridians, through the chest and armpits as well. So we lift the hips, we slide the block underneath the pelvis, like so. We send both legs long, and you might need to shuffle here. Sometimes it starts under the pelvis, but when you send the legs long, it moves to under the spine. We always want it to be underneath the pelvis. You then draw your arms back. So we have block rested under the pelvis, legs long, arms long. From here, we allow ourselves to relax down, closing the eyes, relaxing the jaw, softening the brow, releasing every last bit of tension from the body. This is one of the poses where our body is completely supported by the hardness of the ground and the block. So in some poses we need a little bit of yang energy, like the arms, for example, holding us in place or monitoring how deep we go. But in this pose we can allow a complete relaxation down. Now if it feels too intense, come out of this pose and rest. But for as long as the pose feels that perfect in between not feeling it at all and feeling it too much, when we allow ourselves to commit to stillness, to commit to relaxation of the body, surrendering down with gravity, melting into the pose, becoming heavier, allow that stillness and that silence of the present moment. Often, the mind will immediately reject that stillness and silence, trying to fill it by bouncing around. We don't need to be void of thought when we practice Yin. We simply practice not responding. We practice non-attachment to what we witness. For example, if your mind starts creating a to-do list for the day to come, we allow ourselves to just separate from that. All that exists is you here in the present. Shift your awareness back to the sensations you feel, the breath drawing in and out. When you're ready, as slowly as you can, gently slide the legs up. We lift the hips, draw the arms down and slide the block away. Coming into a gentle counter here, we're going to draw the feet as wide as the mat. Rest your knees together and rest your arms wherever you like. So they could be on your torso, they could be down by your side. Just breathing heavily here. So for this next pose, we have two options. One option is to draw both feet back through center and hook your left ankle over your right leg's thigh. Option two is to draw left leg parallel to the front of the mat in your swan. If we do choose swan, we have the option to lay down into sleeping swan. Wherever you are, we allow that complete relaxation down of the body, meaning that your body may land in a different position to where we started. There is no correct aesthetic in Yin. There is only a correct way to feel it. We never want to experience any pain, but we can cross that boundary into the unfamiliar. In day-to-day life, if we've not practiced Yin before, it can feel a little bit counterintuitive to switch off the muscles and target those deeper areas of the body. We're trying to target these deeper Yin tissues and these long, still holds, free from quick movements, free from any impact. And we're just trying to allow ourselves to strengthen and lengthen and increase the lubrication of those areas through moving in a way that they like to be moved. Coming into a pose and holding, placing that necessary stress that they need to remain functioning properly. But this isn't the only reason we practice Yin. also practice Yin with a focus on the energy body. The idea that within these deep Yin-like tissues of the body, there are channels of energy running through, also known as meridians in traditional Chinese medicine theory. And we're trying to target the surrounding areas, especially the hips and shoulders, which are thought to easily become blocked when we carry stress and tension. We can build up areas of tension in these locations, these crossroads for meridians, which is thought in turn to sometimes block that natural flow of well-being that flows through us. So within Yin, we're not only releasing tension from the body, but we're helping that flow of prana, that life force that is thought to flow through you and to you at every moment, and that sometimes can become blocked or stagnant in certain areas of the body. Each meridian is thought to relate to a slightly different emotion. So here we're targeting meridians that relate to contentment and happiness in the present, releasing and letting go. When you're feeling ready, we're going to move on to the other side in any transition that feels right for you. Move slowly, take your time. And then when you're feeling ready, we relax down. Allow that same heaviness. Allow yourself to do absolutely nothing. In the same way that we don't respond to the thoughts that arise, we don't react, we don't attach to them or reject them, we don't converse with them. The same can be said for these sensations of your body, with the one exception that if you feel any pain, you give your body that compassion and that love, and you move to however you need until you refill that correct sensation. Potentially unfamiliar, potentially a very intense sensation of stretch, which may initially be uncomfortable, but will gradually dissipate into enjoyment. We allow ourselves to begin to embrace that stillness. And just as the pose will often dissipate into very enjoyable sensations, a pose that can start off feeling very intense often lands in a pose that we don't want to leave. As we break down through the fascia, we melt into the pose. The same can be said for silence and stillness. Sometimes at the start of the practice, we're taking a very yang energy and putting it in a yin pose, meaning the mind can bounce around like a pinball, trying to think of anything to fill that silence. But the more we allow ourselves to witness the mind wandering rather than engage with the mind wandering, the more we allow ourselves to shift back to present when we're ready, where all that exists is the breath and the body existing together, the consciousness observing, also known as the higher self witnessing, the observer witnessing. And the more that silence and that stillness begins to feel enjoyable, and even if you started the session needing distraction, needing the telly on or the radio on, often when we leave the practice, we crave a little bit more silence. We ease a little bit more into that yin-like self. When you're feeling ready, drawing your hands up and allowing yourselves to make your way into a downwards dog when you're ready, just for a quick counter pose. And then when you're ready, making your way all the way down onto your front in any transition that feels right for you. Drawing your elbows underneath your shoulders. Well done. Shoulders are down and away from your ears to start, but then we allow that heaviness through the body. So you might find that as you relax down, you do begin to sink head to shoulders. Maybe you drop your crown to shine forwards. You can stay here in your Sphinx, or you might press up into your seal. Whichever you choose, you can draw your hands and your elbows further out in front to make the pose feel more okay for you. So, whether we are stacked elbows, lifted elbows, or out in front, in both options, we allow ourselves here to relax down through the target area. So this is one of the poses where we can't completely relax down, because the arms do need to stay relatively young to keep us in place. Pay attention to what you can feel, where you can feel it, what that sensation feels like. Breathe deeply. Be mindful. Be compassionate to your body. Allow yourself to continually check in with the present, the physical and the breath. What you can feel. Observe any correlation between the two. For example, if the breath in increases the intensity and the breath out reduces the intensity. When you're ready, slowly draw your left forearm parallel to the front of the room, your right forearm parallel to the side of the room, and draw your right shin parallel to the side of the room. Draw your knee closer towards your armpit for an even more intense sensation through the lumbar spine of releasing and through the inner hip of opening. Breathe deeply here. It's normal for the mind to wander here. We allow ourselves that space to not respond. The body can completely relax down here as it is fully supported. And the body gets to relax down every single night. But often the mind will still be working out the day just gone or the day to come. And so in meditation or meditative movement like Yin, that can often be the only chance the mind gets to relax. So give your mind that chance just to be still. And when you're ready, sending your right leg long and swapping sides. Allowing yourself here to be fully supported by the ground allows the nervous system to begin to relax. We begin to switch more into that parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest and digest mode. This is furthered by the fact that we are stimulating through the inner groin, which is our stomach meridian and our spleen meridian. Breathing deeply here. When you're feeling ready, as slowly as you can, both hands come underneath the shoulders, both legs send long. We're going to make our way into our next movement, in which we draw the toes into a tuck. So your toes are all pressing down into the ground. If that is a little bit uncomfortable for you, and you find you cannot get that flexion, then feel free to place the toes on a pillow, just so it's a bit softer on the way down. And then, two options. Option one, a little bit more intense. You stay upright and just breathe through the sensations as they arise. Option two, you stack the fists, rest your forehead down, and allow yourself to be completely heavy here. Whichever option looks correct for you today and feels correct for you today, we allow ourselves to come into that pose. You might find that you can start up, but it starts to feel a little bit too much, in which case you can come down. Allow yourself to fully melt down into this pose. We don't want to push the ground away. We don't want to reject gravity or the pose. We'd like to completely soften, surrender, relax. In the same way that tension arising in the mind can store within the shoulders, the hips, the glutes, the back. we can allow ourselves to undo that simply by stretching out these areas that hold a lot of tension, these areas in which the meridians run through. We can place these long, firm holds until we feel that dissipation. As long as we're relaxed down through the muscles. Targeting areas of tension, targeting areas in which the meridians run through. And we should find that in the same way tension in the mind can create tension in the body, by undoing that tension within the body, we can undo that tension within the mind. We allow ourselves, if anything does come up into the mind, for example, if we find something that we've stored within the body arises, we allow ourselves not to draw our awareness towards it in the way that we are engaging, reacting, responding and restoring. We allow ourselves just to observe it from a place of non-attachment. Each thought is equal in weight. Well done. When you're ready, untuck the toes, making your way into a seated position. Drawing your legs out long, and we can grab a pillow here if you would like to rest the pillow in front of you so that you can relax down onto it. We're going to draw the legs a hip's distance apart, so the knees are roughly a fist's distance from one another. We're going to relax down our arms, and you can turn your palms up either on the floor or on your body even, just to avoid that temptation to press. Relax heavily, soften down. And as you begin to soften through the muscles of the body, you will begin to go heavier and deeper. We find what we call our edge, the point in which gravity lowers you down to, where you can't go any lower. The sensations should be that perfect in between not feeling it at all and feeling it too much. So it should feel bearable, like something you can breathe through, but at the same time, it should be enough that your awareness can settle with it. Often, if we don't feel anything at all, the mind will wander quite easily. If we feel it far too much, the mind will definitely wander. It will wander to anxiety. It will wander to worrying about when the pose will finish. And it will also be a little bit too much for the body. So we just want to give ourselves that ultimate opportunity to relax down physically and mentally by allowing the pose to be that perfect in between. In the same way that we accept wherever our body is today, you could be completely upright without that ability to move forward, and that is fine. We could be feeling more tense today than we are usually. That is fine. We meet ourselves exactly where we're at. We accept it fully. And the same can be said for our mind and our energy. There is no pressure to arrive on the mat or in the poses feeling a particular way. You don't need to feel relaxed or yin. You don't need to feel calm. You don't need to feel zen. We don't need to be a certain way or do anything at all, other than allow ourselves to be exactly as we are in the present and just witness each moment. as if you're a bystander. When you're feeling ready, as slowly as you can, we're coming up, we're moving into our final pose. So for our final pose, you could choose Savasana, or you might feel more comfortable in another Yin pose. So just take whatever feels right for you. If you'd like to take another Yin pose, you can draw your knees wide. Your hands can rest on your tummy, on your diaphragm, on your chest, wherever feels right for you. And then we relax down. If you're in Savasana, your legs are long and your arms are long. Once you've found your perfect position to relax down in, we find a heaviness, we find that softness. We allow the pose completely. Allow yourself to shift with your awareness towards your breath. Observing the breath drawing in and out through the nose. Allow the exhales to be slightly longer than the inhales. When you're feeling ready, slowly slide your legs into a bend one by one. Hug your legs in and rock side to side, rolling onto one side. Staying down for as long as you need, drawing yourself up into an upright seat. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me.